Hello, everybody, and welcome to another installment of Conversations with Christopher. We started this series as a way to introduce and interview some local business owners and trusted resource partners of ours here at the Musuneggi Financial Group, and today we're going to continue that. Today, we have with us Karen Litzinger of Litzinger Career Consulting. Karen helps people from high school students through retirees answer the "what do I want to be when I grow up" question, which is a really important question to answer. She also provides outplacement transition services for companies to help separated employees land their next position. She's a certified career counselor, a board certified coach, and a licensed professional counselor. So, wow, that's a lot. So she brings a lot to the table, needless to say. So, so thanks for joining me today, Karen, and look forward to our conversation.
Great. Happy to be here, Chris. Thank you.
Good. So up on the screen now, just a little more information on Karen. So lots of things there in your bio. What types of things do you like to focus in on?
One of the things I like to emphasize is that I have been doing exclusively career counseling and job search coaching my whole career, because there are a lot of folks who dabble in it, like life coaches or therapists, and I think it's good to know that about somebody in terms of focus. And I did want to share a connection with the Musuneggi group, and what connected me originally with you. I work with a lot of different populations, as noted: high school students, college students, retirees, everybody, young folks, mid-age people who say, gosh, how did I get here? I'm successful, but I hate doing what I'm doing. But one of my original connections with you all was through women re-entering the workforce. And I actually did some workshops on site related to that. So that's just a little bit of a background there, I would say, in terms of the kinds of things that my specialty. Even though I see a lot of different people, I've been doing specialization in what I do for a long time.
So when it comes to career coaching, sort of what's that involved? What does that service look like?
Sure. Well, there's sort of chunks of things, I would say. There's the career decision. What do I want to be when I grow up? The goal piece. There's a job search piece. People get their, just focus on the internet and get lost in the black hole of the internet. And as was noted earlier, outplacement is a part of employers helping whenever they are laying people off and trying to do the right thing. And then I do some speaking as well. And so in terms of the coaching piece, it's really having a person in the goal part, look at themselves, see what's out there, in an organized way. And in terms of the job search piece, it's really helping people present themselves in the best way and use the most successful strategies rather than getting lost in the black hole of the internet. And so it's often a combination of tools as well as obviously verbal coaching and counseling. And I would also say that that's all relevant for people who are considering schooling, whether it's a high school student or people re-careering now during the pandemic, because if you're going to invest time, money, and get labeled more, you really want to make a grounded career decision there.
Yeah, didn't really think about that so much from the college aspect, but I guess in my mind was more thinking the re-career type people you were mentioning. But yeah, that's obviously something that those folks should be participating in too.
Yeah, I have a soft spot. I mean, I've reached out to high schools and tried to do a lot of work with high school students because I have so many people, Chris, who sit in my office when they're 40 and 50, and after they've worked with me, they say, gosh, I wish I did this in high school. I wish I did this in college. And my heart breaks for some of it gets more complicated. People have mortgages, they've got kids, but it's never too late to be happy and find something that suits you.
So when somebody comes for a consultation, you mentioned goals. So I'm assuming a lot of that initial consultation is going to be around those goals. So what does that look like then, that first meeting?
Sure. So I would be, of course, asking them about themselves. What's the situation? What are the issues that are at hand? And helping them sort of do some assessment and their help with their thoughts, that are spinning, if you will. And then there are often one of or two of three models that I help them see and use, or at least introduce. One would be a career decision-making model, because again, people are just getting lost in their thoughts or randomly listening to someone saying, you should go do this or do that, or here's a hot career. And there's, a thoughtful way to do that. I also have sort of a workshop that I did. And so there's a Monday morning career blues questionnaire that I sometimes use with people to help them see how big of a change to make. Is it the field? Is it the job? Is it the industry? Or is it something internal? And then third, if people are in the job search, and particularly I see a lot of people might be job searching for, 5, 6, 7 months and they're not getting anywhere. After a while, I developed a 20-point checklist to help people troubleshoot their job search. So I'd rather see them earlier, but if they are stuck, I help them see what they can do differently. And then the follow-up could be hourly. I have some packages. Of course, as a part of the career goal piece, I do some career assessments, and a lot of people ask about that. Like, hey, do you have one of those tests to help me figure out what I want to do? And so, well, it is a tool, but it's not going to give you the answer. We're looking at that together here. It's a journey and a puzzle we work on together. So and then we sort of decide jointly what works for that person, and they'll get value even in that one session.
And I'm sure that it's going to vary from person to person. No two people are going to be the same. So what I may need if I come to you, the next person may need something completely different.
Absolutely, very tailored. Yes, I mean there's some frameworks that are similar, but I really try to get to know the person in that first session and their needs.
Well, obviously we've been living in a pandemic, so first one for most of us. Hopefully the last, but
yeah, right.
But I'm assuming that's made the career hunting experience for people different. Even just doing interviews over these types of video calls and things. So what are the biggest changes you're seeing?
Yeah. So what is, let's see. Well, before I talk about the video piece, which is obvious and it is big, I would say one of the things that's been interesting for me is the pandemic has really caused people to reevaluate life and their values and their career. It's been very different than earlier downturns when people were just hanging on to their jobs. People are more saying, well, wait a second, life is short. What am I doing here? I've been thinking about this for a long time. And so I was surprised to be busier than I expected, because during other recessions, it's not always as busy. So in terms of video, what's interesting, early in the pandemic, like the first week, one of my clients called me and said, hey, we're on for Thursday and we're supposed to talk about networking. And like, does this make sense? Can I even do any job search things here with the pandemic? And it reminded me of, like, during the winter holidays, my clients would say, well, aren't people too busy? And don't I just have to stop everything now? And I would always say, not really, because people may be slowing down. And with the pandemic, something stopped. And so people may be more willing to talk to you now via Zoom or by phone for networking. Unless they were in IT, they were super busy, and that wouldn't be an option. So I'm often training people about video, both for networking and the interview process. So even as early as the beginning, when their Zoom link, right now I'm all on Zoom, but going gradually back to some personal in-person appointments, their Zoom link screen may be side by side. And so it will look like they're looking here and talking to me. And that's not what you would want in an interview or a networking meeting. So I help them even understand those links and deal with lighting and all of that, which how am I doing here? I'm in okay lighting. So, and and so really that's what's changed. I mean, it's still about networking. Networking is a 50 to 80% success rate. It always will be. You know, the black hole of the internet with some research back on Career Builder was 10%. You know, Indeed is still higher. So it's a different venue. And some things change, some things are the same. So that's what I'd probably say about the pandemic here.
Yeah, it is interesting that, you know, sometimes even during a pandemic, the tried and true thing of networking, you know, still works.
Right.
All right. So every month we like to do our last question is something a little more fun. And so apparently May is National Pet Month. Who knew?
That's great.
I'm always fascinated to find out, though, you know, it's National whatever month. So this is National Pet Month. So I guess the question is, do you have any pets?
Well, I do, and I just think it's so funny that this is my little question because I'm a huge pet person. I have a Schnauzer Terrier mix Georgie that my sweetheart discovered. It's a Welsh Terrier, so he's a wowzer. And I'm actually a big pet person. In terms of funny days, I actually produced a CD on coping with the loss of a pet. So I did 10 years ago, and I was doing pet loss counseling as a little side thing, as this little passion. And so I used to host a fundraiser for one of the rescue leagues on National Pet Parents Day. So there are all these interesting little days and months out there. And yeah, I love animals, and actually brought Georgie into one of my videos when I did this Don't Quarantine Your Career Facebook Live. That's the other thing we're all doing, reinventing ourselves. We're all getting used to Zoom. And can I share one other interesting quote, just because I think we have just a minute, or an interesting survey. Microsoft did a survey in March about the pandemic and what people want. I mean, you know, big change, remote, you know, and so a huge percentage of people want to have remote options, 60 some percent, and then 60 some percent want in-person options. So the future is absolutely hybrid. And I think we're experiencing that, you know, all now. And it's fun to see the pets in my Zoom meetings. So I think pets have spotlighted during these pandemic times. I'll tie those two last questions together there.
Yeah, I found it interesting, the number of clients when we're doing meetings whose pets wander through, or yeah, there are some interesting things you could do. We actually had a client who did a kitchen remodel, and so since we were doing the video, they picked up their laptop and walked us through their kitchen remodel. It's kind of neat. So like you said, there are ways to use this to your advantage when you're networking, or when you're, you know, trying to interview and things like that. So great. So, and yeah, I think I did know about your working with people with pets and the loss of a pet before. So so that's great, and always interesting to find out these little tidbits about the people we know. So
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's delightful to connect this way, even though we can't connect. Well, eventually, we're very on the verge. We are able to. We're all adjusting now of what does it mean as we ease back into life here.
absolutely. So, well, thank you for joining us today, Karen, for this little conversation. Folks, if you're looking for, or you know people who are looking for help with the career search, Karen's information is here on the screen. You can visit her website at karenscareercoaching.com. As Karen said, we've known each other for many years, and she's been a great resource for us and our clients. So feel free to reach out to her, and And Karen, again, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Chris. And I will mention I do offer gift certificates. I was realizing I got a call on that yesterday, so want to mention that as well. So thanks so much, Chris, and best wishes.
All righty, thank you. And everyone, we look forward to seeing you when we do next month's conversation. So thanks a lot and have a great week.